Okay, so here we are with another Masters of the Universe Masterverse unboxing. Masters of the Universe Revelation Scareglow. I've been on a bit of a roll with these Masterverse figures lately. I keep finding good ones and finding ones that I haven't gotten yet for a good price. And this guy I managed to get on Amazon for $15, which, anytime I buy something on Amazon, I'm usually using gift cards that I've saved up from doing like surveys and playing games and stuff online. Like, whatever that you could do to earn gift cards, like being rewards, that kind of thing. So, a lot of times when I get this stuff, it's pretty much free anyway. But if I'm able to get something for $15, that's a good deal for a figure like this. So, Scareglow is one that I've been meaning to get for a while. You can see the other figures in the assortment here. I already had Stinkor, which was the first one I got, the one of these that I wanted the most, and I found him and I was very happy. And then I got Fisto, because when I saw them at the store, there was only one Fisto left and two Scareglows. So I decided to take a chance on hopefully one of these Scareglows will be there the next week, and it wasn't. But if I had a passed on Fisto, surely he wouldn't have been there, and I wouldn't have gotten this one on Amazon for $15. So it all worked out at the end. Now you can tell the package is kind of banged up, and this is not one of those where it was like a warehouse deal. This was just one where the figure itself was on sale. So I gotta kind of wonder if maybe it was on sale because they had a bunch of them that were banged up and just didn't feel like putting them in the warehouse deal. But one thing that I feel like I should mention about this is when it arrived, it was in a bag. There's the bag it was in. So they didn't actually put it in a box. So it could have gotten all banged up in delivery. I don't know. So it says on there, light packaging saves you on shipping. Well, my shipping was free. So I guess it didn't need to save me that much because I already had free shipping. Even if it's in a box, I would have got free shipping. But let's go ahead and open them up. Getting ahead of myself again. So there's the artwork on the side. Fairly nice picture of Scareglow. His belt is weird. Like, it looks like his belt is upside down. I'm used to the Masters of the Universe belts being kind of curved on the bottom, like a smiley face. And this one's curved at the top, like a frowny face. And then there's the picture on the back, and he's like, "Ooh, I'm spooky, boo!" Being all scary. And it says, "Scareglow, evil ghost of Skeletor. Fear his glow. The skeletal specter rules the underworld of Subternia, trapping lost souls in their deepest, darkest nightmares. But it has been too long since Scareglow has tasted true fear. If the daring adventurers wish to pass, through his domain, they must pay the price. Fear for Scareglow to feast upon, or be trapped in Subternia forever." So yeah, in the Revelation cartoon, Subternia is kind of like their version of hell, and I guess Scareglow would be like their version of Satan. Although it wasn't really like that in the original version. Like Subternia was something completely different. Just like kind of like just the underground world. Just like how Preternia is just supposed to be the past, but whatever. Again, the background's just kind of like this rocky background. Not anything worth noting. See his extra accessories is he's got some hands, and the hands have does not appear to be sculpted in. I believe this is just a remold of Skeletor's hands. But they've got this kind of bone pattern painted on them, like Glenn Danzig's gloves when he was in the Misfits. That's just painted on there. And again, I believe all this stuff is just repainted from Skeletor. So that hand. And then you got the halberd. Which is a much darker green than Scareglow's halberd usually is. But it looks cool. Reminiscent of that old Castle Grayskull one. The pole is really thick. That's what she said. Alright, so from Jim Halberd to Michael Scott. And he's got the rubber bands holding him inside the package. Little stupid tabs, that's what they are. And somehow it's sticking on both sides. I hate the tabs. There are going to be a lot of new parts on this figure, which I was not expecting. So we can talk about that some. And now the plastic tab is stuck in his elbow. And it looks like these wristbands are new. They're really cool. They're kind of similar to the ones He-Man had, but you can see this one has a point at the wrist, which has got to be uncomfortable when he turns his wrist back like this, but whatever. It looks cool. And then the cape, that's a new piece. So, I believe there was an earlier version of Scareglow that came out that was like some kind of exclusive. And the main difference I can think of on the actual figure offhand is that I believe it was green glow-in-the-dark paint instead of this kind of pale yellow glow-in-the-dark paint. There might have been like some other accessory differences or whatever, but I don't have that figure, so I don't know for certain. Interesting thing about these hands, and I can't really tell if that extends to the rest of the figure, though it might, but I can really tell on the hands. I can tell to a lesser extent on the arms if I'm holding it up to the light, like this. I can kind of see the light peeking through it a little bit, but it's not as noticeable as on the hands. It's actually translucent black material that they use, like a translucent black plastic, and that's kind of cool because it adds to the ethereal effect. Now, honestly, I probably would have rather they did the traditional thing and molded this guy in all glow-in-the-dark plastic and painted the black stuff on. And I figure the reason they didn't do it is because of the design choices made with the figure on the show, where his body is mostly black until you start to see the skeleton glow through it. And I guess they figured this would be the best way to portray that. But honestly, it still just kind of looks like he's wearing one of those Halloween skeleton suits. So they might as well have just done the traditional thing and just made it in glow-in-the-dark plastic and then painted the black parts on. I think that probably would have worked a little bit better. And you can kind of tell, even in the video, his head is kind of translucent. So you can kind of see through his head. Again, I guess just trying to give him that sort of ghostly appearance. He does not have a traditional style Motu furry loincloth. Instead, he's got this fabric-looking loincloth that kind of wraps around him. It's almost kind of like ancient Egyptian. It's still kind of split at the sides, so that way you can have, you know, your articulation not be hindered as much. He can sit down just fine. You can tell it's not quite at a 90-degree angle, but when is it ever with He-Man figures? And then, unfortunately, the ab articulation does kind of interfere with the bone design, the ribs on his chest. But again, that's just kind of to be expected. So I'm probably not going to bother with these other hands, because I rarely do with the open hands and the fist. Unless there's some kind of reason, like if he holds a shield better with an open hand or something, I might use the open hand, but usually I just like to have the gripping hands. So let's go ahead and put the weapon in his hands and see how that looks. And that looks pretty cool, I think. He has a soft goods cape, which is nice. I always like having soft goods capes, because, like you can see, I can hold the action figure in a, you know, the way you normally hold an action figure. It's kind of like the cape fall over the back of my hand, or even kind of wrap it around the action figure and hold it that way if you want to. The plastic capes I always found when I was a kid, they would kind of like make it a little more difficult for me to hold the figure in the way that I wanted to hold the figure, so I didn't really like them as much when I was a kid. As a collector, I think they look really good on the shelf, so I don't mind the plastic capes so much anymore. But as a kid, I always liked the fabric capes better, so I always liked the fabric capes better, even as an adult on the Masters of the Universe figures, because I feel like that's a little more like the old school. That's how, when they did fabric capes on the rare occasion in the original line, they were usually soft goods capes, like the original Scareglow, or the original King Randor. So, like I said, a lot of new parts on this figure. I already pointed out the bracers are new, and the loincloth is new. These boot pieces are new. Like, I don't know if the actual feet are shared with any other figures, but the shin guards, those are definitely new with these silver pieces on here. And, a lot of this I think was done because of how he was designed on the show. Obviously, this is supposed to look like how he looked on Revelation, and not supposed to look like the original figure. But I do think it's nice, regardless of the reasoning, that they went through the extra effort of giving him a lot more accessories than I was originally thinking. He's not a simple repaint of Skeletor like the original version was, and most subsequent versions of Scareglow have been. He has new boots, new bracers, a new loincloth. Obviously, this piece is a newly sculpted piece, brand new head. He's going to have a new head regardless, even if it is a repaint of Scareglow, repaint of Skeletor, because Scareglow doesn't have a hood. Skeletor does. So, but yeah, he should glow in the dark. It's daytime right now, so I'm not really going to be able to test it out that well. But yeah, he's a really cool looking figure, and I'm glad to have had him, especially since I was able to get him at a cheap price. Look at this. I think this is kind of cool. They actually painted in the bones on his shin here, even though they're mostly covered up by the shin guard. And I would think they would be justified in skimping on those, but they actually went the extra mile and put that in there. So Scareglow is definitely worthy of being in your collection. I know a lot of people, he wasn't one of the main guys. He didn't show up until like the last year of the line, but he is definitely one that has like a sort of cult following, and the people who love Scareglow really love him and just want to get every single figure of him. And a lot of them have been really hard to find. Like the Origins one, I was lucky enough to get it, and it was really difficult to find. The Classics version is really pricey on the aftermarket. The original one, being one of that really rare last wave of Masters of the Universe figures, of course, it's like very prized and valuable among collectors. So if you get a chance to get this guy, make sure you scoop him up, because he might wind up becoming one of those that's hard to find in the future, and you might regret sleeping on him. But I know that most of my viewers, the ones that I know of that are fans of Scareglow, I'm pretty sure already have this guy. So I was probably actually the last one to get him. And like I said, I would have got him at the time if I could have spent enough money on two figures. I would have got him and Fisto at the time. But one Fisto versus two Scareglows, yeah, I'm gonna take the one, because otherwise I might not even got Fisto at this point. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this time. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Let me know what you think about this figure in the comments, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.